Today we have a role for you between two white belts from Next Generation Martial Arts. Thomas is in the white gi and Craig is in the black gi. It's a real good role after a long day of training. And these two, they were cool with getting picked to video and have us kind of analyze it and put it out and kind of talk over it a little bit. So they start, Thomas hits a nice little shot, gets a single leg finish, and Craig goes to close guard. Thomas makes his posture and starts his guard break. So starts a nice little knee cut pass right here, and he wants to flatten Craig out. So Craig fought real hard to stay on his side, and he was able to get to his knees. So he kind of saved that pass and stopped Thomas from getting the side control. So Craig's battling, controlling the hips. All right, Thomas gets hips down, and he finishes on top and top side, or top half guard. And Craig right here for this half guard, man, really don't worry about the hand with your right hand. Don't worry about grabbing the hand that's under your head. You really want to focus on getting that underhook. That underhook's going to give you the ability to be able to come up top on a single or be able to escape bottom side if he would start to get his leg out. So it's kind of preemptively defending the side control. So Thomas passes again, doesn't settle to the top as far as getting a pin, which allows Craig to be able to grab his legs and kind of drive him down. So yeah, Thomas got close guard now. Craig's sitting up nice and tall, starting to make some posture here, looking to secure his grip so he can start opening that guard. So just a traditional knee in the middle style looking break is what he's looking to do. And he's wanting to go knee over and try to drive into the top half maybe. Thomas off balances him a little bit with kind of like a scissor sweep, sort of half guard-ish, like a knee shield type of position. And the left hand that he has in Craig's collar is allowing him to be able to control some space along with his foot on the hip too. So kind of shuts Craig's forward momentum going and saves him from getting put under too much pressure. So it's good on Thomas's part for being able to create that frame early. Saves him from the pass. Now Craig right here, you still want to be able to build that posture. You're giving up a sweep going to your right because you're posting your left foot heavy on the mat. So Thomas, if he'd have capitalized on that, he could have hit a nice little hook sweep. So Thomas is hunting the cross choke though. So he's got it under. He's got the cross choke sort of tight. Craig digs under that leg and kind of stacks him. It looks like it loosens up the grip. And he's making sort of like a stack pass. He jumps back through, looking to settle in the top half. Yeah, so from here he's going to be able to build some pressure and possibly be able to get that guard pass. So Craig's got top half right here, and he's doing a good job of keeping Thomas flat. He is pinning those shoulders as he's crawling his leg out nice and slowly. So let's see if he can get that finish. Yep, gets his pass. And settle him. Yeah, so anytime you guys get passes, just make sure that you understand the pass itself is a pin. You have to pin the guy on the mat in order to be able to effectively establish a pass. So his back needs to be on the ground. And Thomas finds a little off balance in there, and he's able to turn up and get back to a top position, but he kind of gives it up really quick. I think he's just tired. Nice little hook sweep there, and comes back up top. Starting to look for some sort of knee cut pass right here again. But notice he doesn't have an underhook. So Craig, this is another one of those opportunities. If you get an underhook right there, you could almost be guaranteed to come up. Nothing wrong with going to bottom guard, but I do believe it's better to be able to take that top position when you have the opportunities. So Craig's looking to set his own grips up. Got a nice cross collar grip. Being able to create some sort of frame, lets it go, and then tries to get under Thomas's arm to maybe grab it. Now you're just controlling for hands and grip fighting. So right here, sometimes it's a good push him away and sort of look for a standing base, Craig, when he's kind of sitting back a little bit far. See if you can start building a base and make a standing base and just force him into a sprawled position. So Thomas driving down. You need to watch that left arm, Thomas. Craig's looking to do some sort of sit over sweep or scissor possibly. And I would expect Thomas right here to make some kind of quick pass. Thomas is super athletic and he can move really quick. So yeah, he passes to his right, just kind of passes by that leg, gets a pin, and establishes himself on a nice top side control. So it's good. Now right here, Thomas, you really just want to settle him. Just focus on not doing a whole lot. Just do a lot by pinning, not necessarily by moving or trying to be overly aggressive in your attack. Now Craig right here, hug his back. Yeah, so you had an opportunity there to make that underhook again, and you could have came up to your knees and possibly got a single, and you drove your top arm underneath him. So you were looking for guard first. Always look to come top first. And if you're forced to guard then you accept the guard as the next best position. So he's got himself back to his guard, Craig does, and he's kind of, looking for grips. Looks like he wants to come up, but actively use your feet when you have opportunities, Craig. Use those feet, get those feet on him so you can create that space and control some distance a little better. So I'm not sure what Thomas is doing here. Is he possibly looking for like a loop choke of some sorts, a guillotine? Not real sure, but I know one thing. You want to be able to keep your knees off of the mat, Thomas. So those knees being on the ground, it's close. If he pops free of that grip that it looks like you have, he'll be able to start looking for singles. And yeah, so you really tried to jump to his back right there and didn't necessarily solidify position. You were trying to fly to his back, and his arm just pops out of nowhere and gets that underhook, and he was able to drive you down. So now as far as the position now, you want to be able to continue to drive that knee back inside of your legs so that you can start climbing your guard up a little better, because it looks like a quarter guard from here. He's like 3/4 mount. You have quarter guard from the bottom. And yeah, that should have presented the pass, and now he's got the mount settled. So Craig's starting to settle into this position nice and heavy. Get those hips nice and heavy. Thomas, start working your feet to the middle of his feet so you can start moving your hips a little better and possibly get your guard back. So little bumps with your hips to be able to make his arm have to base out to the side to get that elbow back to your body is a pretty big deal here. So I'd like to see you bumping. So getting those feet to the middle of his legs so that you can bump and effectively use your bridge to start gaining a little bit of ground. Yep, just like that, ideally. So you keep bumping any little time that somebody kind of starts building a little bit of pressure. You attack their positioning by making them have to post. Good. You keep doing that. Yep, exactly. You get that guard right back. So right there, you had an opportunity to make that left underhook. Same thing that I was kind of preaching to Craig earlier. You want to be able to do that early. So you're doing it now. Attached to his hip. So if you can attach tighter to his hip, it's harder for the guy to re-pummel. So he was able to fight back and get that pummel. So right here, again, drive that elbow through and get that underhook and start getting your side now and really control the guy's hip and keep coming up. Beautiful. Like that. Perfect. So right here, Thomas, push that knee down with your right hand and start kind of folding his legs to your right side. And then you'll be able to start isolating his guard to one side and create some openings for passes in either direction. So Craig, right here, you're looking to establish that underhook again with your left hand and fight for that underhook and do not let him grab your head. So you're turning away, kind of exposing your back, but let's see what happens here. He's looking for some kind of Kimura. Thomas, your grips look to be backwards, so you want to be able to switch that grip. So your left hand wanted his wrist, and Thomas is looking for the arm lock. So yeah, when you go for those arm attacks, you got to be able to pin that guy down on the bottom. So you want to be able to keep his back on the ground when you make those. And Craig used that to kind of turn the tides. Now he's on top making an attack. And let's see how this plays out. He's got a good pin. Thomas is starting to look tired. And he's turning away. So he's kind of doing the same thing that Craig did a second ago, turning away and kind of exposing that arm. So Craig's on the arm. Kimura variation possibly. Straight arm lock. Thomas is turning. Arm's pretty straight here. It's getting kind of dicey. And is he going to pull his arm out? All right, looks like he tapped. So yeah, that's the end of the match. So Craig kind of fought hard to stay on that arm. And yeah, I believe this is where Thomas runs straight to the trash can. So it's a good round between those two. Very good roll. Like I said, that was at the end of a training session, so those boys are tired. Great match. Stay tuned in for next week, guys.